Hello, fellow players of Hero Wars. I'm Jay. Welcome to Jay vs. Hero Wars. Today, I'll be talking about the way in which you can potentially spend your Harmony coins and really different ways to maybe evaluate and consider how you're going to do that. So without further ado, let's check it out. Alright guys, so here we are in game, about 10 hours left in this event. Obviously, we usually have a little bit more time to expend our resources after the event ends, because the event obviously does end exactly in those 10 hours. So at this point, you're probably feeling pretty comfortable potentially with where you're at in this event. You can see I didn't really complete as much as I would have liked, but I'm still very familiar with this event. I really would have liked to have gotten more skin stones for these three skins that they're featuring, right? But I was able to get two, so I'm not going to complain too much, but I do think that that would have been a really nice reward to see at the merchant shop. It's just the ability to get some skin stones. I don't know, maybe that's just me. But anyway, you can get some skin stones in the Harmony chest, but the Harmony chest is not something I would recommend. I personally will not be buying any of those. If some of my leftover Harmony coins get transferred into a Harmony chest, so be it. But it's not a great buy, really, because of what's inside. So normally I would expect around 500 coins per chest. So I'm thinking like 500 tower coins, or 500 arena coins, or 500 grand arena coins, something like that. But from what I've seen of other people opening this chest, they're getting 50, just 50. So that's like a 90% loss in terms of what I would be expecting, right? So I think that's not great. That means basically to get to that 500 number, you need 10 of these chests to spawn, respawn, and it just doesn't seem like a good value. If you're getting even 10, super lucky, obviously, then that means you're getting a value of 500 coins per 750 on what you're spending, right? So that's just on a value perspective. We're looking at it purely on the economic numbers to start. So there's a couple ways you can obviously calculate that. Moving on, Chaos Cores. 750 for a Chaos card to me seems a little expensive. Granted, right, it's a better deal than what you can get at the scrolls, right? So you can pass, or you can trade in one scroll for a Chaos Core. That is a terrible deal in my opinion. If you're doing a scroll for like 10, maybe that's more fair. But, you know, this seems like a better deal than the scrolls, but really still not in a friendly enough range for me to be looking to purchase Chaos Cores in mass. Looking at these Flaming Heart, Pasture Seal, Minotaur's Head, Hand of Glory, all of them are 1,000 Harmony coins. Now, from a purely economic standpoint, this is a really good deal, because you got to look at it as coins cost 1,650 of any coin to get these purple items, and you're going to need a bunch of them. So the fact that they're this affordable, really useful for people who have heroes that are like in the purplish range. I mean, even maybe some orange. You just don't need them as frequently when you hit the higher milestones. I mean, yes, okay, so Hand of Glory needed for Nebula, Lars, and Cleaver, as well as 33 other heroes. So those are needed items. But I will say, these items tend to drop a little bit more than, say, some of the future ones that we're going to look at. So that's something to keep in mind. Orange items. This is, in my opinion, a really good area to look at. But if we're looking at it from a purely deal, coin-wise deal, the math is pretty simple. 820 of any coin, right? So tower, shop, whatever, will get you about 10 of these. And you need 80 of them to complete a full fragment. So what the math is basically 820 times 8. So roughly, I'm using a calculator here, 820 times 8 is essentially 6,560 coins, which is a better deal than 5,000, right? So you're beating the odds on the coins, which I really like. Obviously, it's not quite as nice of a deal as, say, these purple items, but these items, I think, are a lot harder to farm, and you have to spend a lot more coins in the long run, in my opinion, than this. But I don't know. I think it depends on what you're going for. You can actually purchase some of these fragments in the using gold. So I think that to me also lessens their value. But if I were to give a recommendation based on where I am in game, it obviously depends a lot on where you are in the gameplay. But I think some of the most valuable ones are Harunian Helm and the Lycanthrope's Fangs. Right, these are mainly really heavily used, as well as the Alchemist set and the Enigma's Chronicles. So I see really Alchemist set and Enigma's Chronicles are really often used with magic attackers. If I'm being honest, obviously we have Cleaver here. He's not really a magic attacker. He's more of a defensive guy against magic defense. He's just a tank. But anyway, I do see that these two typically go hand in hand, and the Harunian Helm, Lycanthrope's Fangs tend to overlap a lot more in terms of the heroes that are used. So I'd say physical attack heroes typically kind of trend towards using these in their item sets, and these two tend to typically more likely are in the magic attacker realm. So if you're, a magic attack specialist per se, you might want to be looking at these two items for the most value. Lycanthrope's Fangs and Harunian Helm also tend to be pretty common for those physical attackers. Now, throwing knives are a lot less common, I would say, in terms of universality. Same with Citadel Guardian. I think they rechanged the name there because I don't remember it being that. But obviously, throwing knives are needed for Kark, as well as some others. So, it's hard to say that there's no value in these guys. I'm not saying that. I just think that these four are probably the more popular bet if you are looking to buy the best value and looking forward and ahead. Going down to these red items. So, well, before that, we have the Song of Valkyries. Very tough item to build. I think there's a lot of value here if you were to purchase it, but it is very costly. It's a lot of Harmony coins. I'm not sure too many people can afford that. And if you're going to get that high, you might as well start looking at these higher last guys here. The Vanquished Absolute is my worst nightmare to create. So anytime I can use coins like this in an event like this, I will probably try to get the Vanquished Absolute. Don't like making that item. Creator of the World's also terrible. Demigod's Wreath, I actually kind of don't mind as much. But these other two, wow, those are some of my least favorite items to craft. So I'll try to avoid those. But these guys, right, are available in shops, and you usually have to buy them in sets of 5. So it makes it a little bit more difficult. But I still think, so the coin value, if I did all the math right, should be about 32,800. So there is a good separation. You're getting good value for your coinage here as well. But I kind of think that these items are easier to accumulate. I don't know why the drop rates on these particular items, in my opinion, are a lot more difficult to acquire. The cost and energy seems to be a little bit more as well. So my strongest advice would be to strongly consider these items. And if you have Harmony coins left over, then go look at these purple items and go from there. But that also depends on where you are in gameplay. If you are, I think, later in your game stage of life, that is probably the move because you're trying to upgrade your current team and maybe even your second team at this point. If you're in a third team, that is, wow, good for you. But yeah, I think those are the things to look at. And these purple items, they don't go as far when you're looking at your final stage teams. So that is my recommendation on this Trial of the Heavens event. Honestly, not a bad event. I really like the skins. On a quick side note, I'm really hoping I can eventually get the Satori skin. It's the only remaining skin I don't have right now in Hero Wars. And that is a quick side note there. But anyway, I really like the way the Kark skin looks. I can't emphasize that enough. Really, really reminds me of Naruto and kind of those Hokage, Kazekage, all of those Kages with those hats. I don't know if you guys remember. If anyone's a Naruto fan, you probably know. But anyway, if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that thumbs up button and subscribe. I will be having a future video on the Champion season that is upcoming. So with that being said, guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me here on this video, and I look forward to seeing you guys very soon in Dominion.